You're watching WWAY News Channel 3 at 5. Voted Best Newscast in the Carolinas with Chris, Kathy, John with sports, and Jerry with your Storm Track 3 forecast.
Well, a lot of spotty shower activity across southeastern North Carolina. Not everyone getting measurable rain so far, but if you got stuck underneath some of those showers, you saw a lot of water in a very short space in time. If you look down here toward the Charlotte area down in Brunswick County, you can see not too much in terms of rainfall accumulation, but then you hop just up the road to the north and east across northern New Hanover County. Some good rainfall totals extending up north into Pender County too, and over here just to the south of Burgaw, in some cases over an inch, and in some cases up north toward the Bladen-Sampson County line, close to 2.5 to 3 inches of rain. Now, these are unofficial numbers, so you may have seen a little more or less at your particular location, depending on how everything panned out today. But I do think rainfall will definitely be on the increase over the next 24 hours here. As we see, we don't really have anything making the grade for severe weather criteria across the region, although every now and then we see these little profile markers begin to highlight and show up. And at least over the last hour or so, from time to time, we've seen a few hail producers, at least small hail, nothing quite up to an inch in diameter, which is technically what you need to cross over that severe threshold. But heaviest rain now falling up here in Robinson County, pushing to the north and east toward Lumberton and eventually St. Paul. So showers and thunderstorms definitely in the offing as we head throughout the course of the evening tonight. Now we're opening up a huge train track of moisture really that extends all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. This is how our moisture feed is going from southwest to north and east, and that's significant for two different reasons. First of all, we're tapping into all that Gulf of Mexico moisture, but any disturbances that develop and tap into that flow will be guided in our direction. So all that is going to lead to an unsettled short-term weather forecast. So we have at least a 50-50 chance of rain in the forecast tonight, and by tomorrow we'll up that chance to 80%. So it looks like most of you are going to get wet before the next 2 or 3 days are over with. And Pinpoint Futurecast, it does indeed agree with that overall forecast scenario. Now, by Wednesday, a cold front tries to come into view and push the more widespread rain offshore, but the front itself may help to trigger a few showers and storms. So a 50-50 chance of rain on Wednesday. But beyond Wednesday, high pressure starts to build in out of the north. That should set us up for a more tranquil end to this work week. Nothing going on in the tropics, no tropical storms or depressions in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea, and most of the Atlantic looking in pretty good shape too. We are tracking some thunderstorms down here that'll eventually be moving to the north and east toward the Windward and Leeward Islands. They're a little too far south at the moment to really pick up the rotation they need to develop into a tropical storm, so we're not too concerned about it. Had this been a little bit later in the season and these thunderstorms were a little farther to the north, then it might get interesting, but right now just an area of interest, nothing more. Current conditions 79 degrees here in the Port City, dew point at 70, relative humidity at a muggy 74%. And earlier today, despite some clouds, we did manage to tap into the low 80s, still below the seasonal average of 86, and most of us in the 70s. You can see Jacksonville at 73, White Lake is 79, and Whiteville in Columbus County at 81. For the rest of the night, mostly cloudy. Showers will be likely. At least in the short term, the best chance will be our interior counties, Robinson, Columbus, Bladen County, and points north and east. Variably cloudy tomorrow, an 80% chance of rain and storms, and it could be heavy at times. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s. A little cooler at the beaches, upper 70s there. Seas average 3 to 5 feet. Small craft urged to exercise caution. And your Storm Track 3 7-day extended forecast, 50-50 chance of rain and storms on Wednesday as a cold front pushes in. Behind that cold front, drier air and cooler too for Thursday will only be in the low 80s. And once we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we start to try to transition back to a true summertime pattern yet again. Now, when it comes to tracking severe weather, there are really many government agencies sometimes involved. It can get a little bit confusing. Classes in session in the Atmosphere Academy. Have you ever wondered how NOAA came into being? No, we're not talking about the biblical NOAA, but rather the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The present form of NOAA has its origin in 1970, when President Richard Nixon decided to form a department for the better protection of life and property from natural disasters. NOAA was actually formed as a combination of three much older agencies: the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey, the Weather Bureau, and the Bureau of Commercial Fisheries. The idea was to pool resources across multiple disciplines of atmospheric and marine science. Today, NOAA contains 6 major offices, including the well-known National Weather Service and lesser-known entities such as the Office of Program Planning and Integration. The goal remains the same, to not only keep you safe during breaking severe weather, but to help you understand more about the weather of tomorrow. For the Atmosphere Academy, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Jackson. Class dismissed. Back at State, we always used to joke, if you were interested in going into weather, you better learn acronyms because there are so many agencies. It gets confusing, and they're constantly evolving and changing, but the goal is the same.
That's a big one, NOAA. Well, after having just perfect weather this weekend, we're having some rain all week long, it almost seems like.
Yeah, I got so accustomed to going outside and playing with Connor this weekend. We were going to do the same thing this morning, and the rain was coming down. It's like somebody flipped the switch.
Did he point that out for you?
Yeah, he did, real quick.
Telling you earlier, I came through Brunswick County this afternoon, right around noon, and it was just pouring down.
Yeah.
Right in the place where 74 likes to flood, too. So that was
and then if you get outside of that, very little, just really light. So if you get under it, it's heavy. If you don't, nothing.
Exactly.
So one NOAA or the other NOAA, both flooding today, huh?
Yes,
Very
indeed.
clever.
Tied
Very
that together. Did you
Yes.
catch that?
Got it good. That was good.
Carry on.
Thank you, Jerry. Don't forget, you can follow us on